Welcome back, Point Three people, to another exciting episode of the Point Three podcast. We're excited to have you with us once again as we discuss the latest happenings in the world of superheroes and anime. In this episode, we're previewing and discussing the trailer for DC's newest anime, Suicide Squad Isekai, which looks phenomenal. And just to hit quick heads up, if you haven't seen the trailer, consider this a spoiler warning if you did not want to see it and just wanted to watch the show when it comes out. But remember, we're not just here to talk at you, we want to hear from you. So join the conversation over at Point Three Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and share your thoughts, reactions, and I guess your favorite anime that gets you hyped for this. So let's make this episode a truly interactive experience, and the links are in our bios. So whether you're a long-time listener or just joining us, we're excited to have you here and get ready for a preview like no other as we don our capes of critique and take flight into the heart of Suicide Squad Isekai. So fellas, we're all anime fans here. We've all watched a good amount of it, a couple different categories. How do you guys feel about a Suicide Squad Isekai anime? And for those that don't know, Isekai is a genre of anime where you pretty much get thrown from one world to a different world. It's a reference to that fantasy mashup vibe as it roughly translates to another world.
Mm-hmm.
Isekai genre has become shorthand for the common anime concept of stories that focus on heroes who travel to alternate realities, usually with a fantasy vibe. For those non-anime, I don't know what word to say. People that don't watch it as much. Yeah. How do you guys feel about this?
I'm curious, Hero Scroll, what you're thinking here. I know this is a hot one for you.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. DC and animation goes hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. And for them to finally dip their toe into like a full-on anime, that's such a good idea, because if you look at things like Teen Titans, where there was definitely influence there on Teen Titans, but for them to finally be like committing and taking a group of characters that can really fit well for this, because I think the Suicide Squad as a group is such a good group to pick and be like, all right, we're just going to do this story with them and it's going to work either way. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's a great cast. I mean, you have Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Peacemaker, Clayface, King Shark, and Joker. We know Waller is going to be present in some way. I think it's super cool that that cast of characters being transported into a fantasy world with supernatural elements. The types of characters that you see in shows like a ReZero, it's just going to be a really cool spin on what they do, especially with a Harley Quinn, which it kind of seems like she's going to be the main protagonist of this. And then you have Joker kind of being in that antagonist role potentially as well. And then who knows what they're going to stumble upon as well. Like, it's just such a cool, fun take. But again, we talked about this off screen beforehand in preparation of this. Wit Studio, the studio that has done Spy Family, they've done the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan. The style for me when it comes to an anime, like, I love the art. I love the way that they animate. The fight scenes are like, that alone is going to be just off the charts. And I just think it's going to be so fun to see Harley Quinn just with like a giant hammer or some sort of mystical weapon where she's going to be like, what does this do? Oh, it kills a bunch of people. Like, let's use it. I just think it's going to be a really, really fun take. And hopefully this helps catch on anime in Japanese animation, essentially. Onto the Western side of things, because I think that if I were to say that there's one thing where I think cartoons or animation today is limited, it's in the action sequences. And I don't think you get action done any better than an anime. Characters like Flash or Superman or any of these like massive DC characters who, and again, like Heroes Girl said, DC animations, like it's goated. But I just think it'd be super cool to get more of this, and I really hope it's well received.
Where it's so funny how comic books just lend themselves to that, though. And when you really think about it, anime is just, and manga is just Japanese superheroes for the most part. You look at things in shows like Attack on Titan, the things they animate, JJK, the fight scenes that come out of that. And normally when we imagine things like Deadshot, we think about how he's going to be bouncing and ricocheting bullets off every possible thing and hitting bullets on bullets, and they go on that way. That's stuff you get to see, literally see in the show, and I even looking at the trailer, Clayface, a character that I think not a lot of people care about as strongly, and whose power set, when you first think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, he can transform into people and he can shoot clay, but you look at what he's doing in the trailer, and he's like fluid in movement and like attaching himself to things. It just makes characters look so cool.
Yeah.
And I think this is really going to shine on that, like you said.
Yeah. Spider Brando.
I am very excited that we got Wit animating it. We got screenplay by screenplay and script, actually. Do script and screenplay go hand in hand with one each other? I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what the difference is between the two.
One will come before the other.
Okay. But they got Tape Nagatsuki. It's terrible butchering of it. I apologize if you're watching this.
It's a point of apology.
But very big fan of ReZero, and the story that show tells in it's an isekai as well. The story that show goes through gets me very excited for this as well, because I love his work, and my guy Subaru, he's got a story. But like you guys both said, it's cool to see this type of adaptation. Like, we got Disney going with the animation route for franchises like Star Wars, doing Star Wars Visions, and them getting a bunch of different anime studios to come up with one-off Star Wars stories. And then Marvel with What If. It's not anime, but it's still animation. So it's cool to see Disney take this, or not Disney, DC take this take and doing like an actual storyline type anime series instead of Visions type of one-off, just per episode, boom, that's the last time you see them. So I'm excited.
And I think this will fall under that Elseworlds umbrella. So outside, I know I have seen randomly here and there, spotty, just some people being like, is this connected to the DCU? And like, no, this is going to be different. But again, the cool thing here is it's a chance to see these characters in ways that we might not have. And like Spider-Man has said, a furthering of that story, and it's just told in a different way. And again, going back to like this specific style that most people expect, the rigid, it looks like these characters are on a page, right? Where anime and the art, and especially this studio specifically, can really just bring this entire thing to life. And to be honest with you, I think it's just going to add another notch into maybe one of the most underappreciated and underrated characters that we've seen in the last decade, Harley Quinn. I think is another great addition to a Harley Quinn character who's gotten a lot of love just the fact that live action DCEU didn't really do great. I think that character just been swept under the rug. So excited to see this addition to the Harley character.
And you got to shout out DC for having that corporate synergy for themselves too, where you put this out alongside with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. There's a reason they're marketing this so closely together. And I know people are like, oh, there might be some who are going to say, oh, we're tired of the Suicide Squad. But in reality, that's how you build a household name. And that's how you build characters for your company in reality. Because now, if you really want to compare it down the Guardians route, they're kind of becoming that household name now where, Guardians did eventually get their own things, their own game, multiple games, might I add, their own TV show. You look at the Suicide Squad, kind of the same thing where they got 2 movies, one's better than the other, but 2 movies, a game.
At least the haircut.
And no, stop it. We're not, no. A game that is by a company that has high acclaim, and now a show. So, it's cool to see that these characters are getting the love that, some think they might deserve, but it's just awesome. Even looking at Peacemaker, where Peacemaker's in everything. And I would say 2 years ago, nobody really knew who he was. And now he's in Mortal Kombat. He's in just about every DC comic book right now as some sort of cameo. It's crazy. Who's to say this won't shoot someone like Clayface up, where now when, there was a lot of Batman 2 rumors about how Clayface might be the villain, and people were like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. Yeah, we haven't seen him. I think if this does really well, and if Clayface is like the MVP or someone who a lot of people, get attracted towards, man, the Matt Reeves Batman 2 rumors of Clayface now, that sounds like a fantastic idea to the casual audience that just saw this.
Speaking of MVP, who do you guys think will be your favorite character in this by the end?
King Shark.
That's what I was gonna say.
He looks just him bodying that dude in the trailer gets me excited.
It's either King Shark or Deadshot. I feel like Deadshot's been done dirty a couple times now, and I feel like this is his time to shine. This, along with the video game that's coming out, they're gonna be like, hey, Deadshot's a top tier.
Now here's the thing, though: if they do Joker as the protagonist and they give him like that treatment that a lot of antagonists get in anime, regardless of the genre, I'm probably gonna be like, well, not surprised. Like, just not surprised. So I think Joker will be an easy. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a great. I think Clayface is the one that I'm like, I don't really know what to expect, which I think could be a good thing if they have a really good take on him. Just to be like, hey, live action, here is kind of a nice blueprint. And this, I mean, DC, I hate to be this guy who compares everything, but I always do, and I'm going to. The DC animation, and if they can really let this be a building block for an anime style section of DC animation, keep what they're normally doing with their regular animation, because the new Justice League movie's about to come out. Crisis 1 is going to come out. That looks a little bit different, but I gotta say, I know Spider-Brando, you're referencing it, but Marvel, their best team is Sony Animation. So, I mean, we get a live action war, we get an animation war, and like we're getting back to these like the good times, and DC and Marvel are going at it, and it's just one after another of just like, here you go, and like who can elevate who, and next thing you know, we're getting a bunch of TVMA violence rated animation shows that are taking over the superhero genre, which I am here for. So I'm excited for it.
Love it. It's 2 of my favorite things in one: superheroes anime. Take my money. That's all I want.
A Flash anime.
Yeah.
A Flash anime. Give it to me.
I'm
That would
sorry.
be-
You my favorite animated characters are lightning ability characters. Anyone who just controls, harnesses, uses the Sasuke's, the Kakashis, the Zenitsus, like those types of characters. Oh my gosh, like I'm such a sucker for that. Flash, you ever go the animation route? I'm there. Front and center. No problem. You want to
That'd
take
be
us home,
awesome,
Spider Brando?
man. I gotta fill my freaking. Sorry.
Dude, that Flash thing just gave me like,
Goosebumps.
goose.
Right?
It got me thinking of like other DC characters that I'd like to see in anime. We should brainstorming idea.
You know who would be okay. Real quick, I'll cut this back in. Flash was a really good one. 3 characters, DC characters that you would want to see, or we'll give one each that you'd want to see. We could just any animation style. I mean, we could just say shonen for simplicity, but
We've seen Batman in anime already. I would say
Batman would have been
Green
nasty.
Lantern.
Wait, real quick to that Batman point. If this studio did Batman, could you imagine how wild this man's grappling abilities would be with that hook?
Oh my
Insane.
god.
Insane.
Wild.
Sorry, I just oof. All right, Green Lantern.
I think Green Lantern, Cyborg, and this is a hard third.
Cyborg.
There's so many. Deathstroke.
Oof.
Deathstroke would go crazy in anime. Oh my god.
Oof.
I'm gonna say Green Lantern is one. Green Lantern bias. But Green Lantern, a Animal Man would be really cool.
Ooh.
I think that would be a really good one to see. And just because All Might is so good in anime form and you get that overpowered character, man, an overpowered character that would be fantastic in anime, Superman. Superman would immediately climb onto people's top 10 lists if you get one.
We need to do My Adventures with Superman because it's a soft step. It's not a full step. So for anyone listening, be like, did they kind of do it and they took some elements? It was conservative. If they go all in, no. But to that point, my one and my easy one, which I think would be one of the most successful DC characters to ever get some sort of adaptation, would be Shazam. Give me that teenager.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think
That
about
would
Shazam.
That would be good.
Billy Batson would be one of the greatest. Please let me hear him dubbed. Subbed. Ugh, dubbed. Ugh. Just I'm mute. I'm going on mute. I'm never gonna talk again.
Well, thank you all for tuning into this episode from the Point 3 podcast. Don't forget to join us or join Hero and Funko Lou this Wednesday at 9:05 because your boy is gonna be somewhere in the Caribbean islands, riding the waves. For our YouTube live stream, where we'll be discussing the latest news, reviews, and insider scoops. Also, catch the full episode of our podcast anywhere you listen. If you're planning on watching the Suicide Squad Isekai anime this week, not this week, whenever it comes out, let us know your thoughts over at Point 3 Podcast on Instagram or TikTok so we could feature your comments in our next review or preview episode. And until then, all you Point 3 people, keep watching, keep reading, and keep nerding out.